Okay, welcome back. Uh, Finally, getting some time to be able to wrap up the redesign of the Civil War database. Actually, probably a misnomer now because the advancements have been so numerous that this database will probably be implemented across the board. It's not known yet, but I'm sure I will, as I go forward, discover whether it's worth spreading out to all the other eras. For right now, we'll call it the horse and musket era or something of that nature, but it's Civil War because that's the direct relationship to it. So what we're looking at is the Union. Oh, and I see it still says Corps Division. All right. Well, actually, Corps Division is correct. So what has transpired? Number one, the thing that has changed is that the individual brigade file cards, 4x6 index cards, are gone. It's nice to have a nice big card for roster keeping, for a secret recording of casualties and such, but it becomes not really that necessary, especially if someday I was able to create or have someone create for me an app where a damage to a thing could be recorded. And because there's several different levels of damage, it would have to be several different layers of damage. So that's the first thing that happened. We got rid of the regimental scale on the card. But the regimental scale still exists, but now the card, the 4x6 index card, contains an entire division, which is smarter, hypothetically. Because basically, in any game, in any scenario, you're basically going to have a division of troops, minimum. Could be 3, 5 regiments. You could still call that a division, right? Even though it's really technically maybe just a brigade. But the fact is, doesn't matter. The card's feature, or the database's features, are what matter. And let me just try this little zoom function. All right, so this is kind of cool. I don't know why. I don't know why it does that weird tracking business. But at any rate, that's the idea. Okay, so the zoom function is kind of, I was hoping it would be a little bit more intuitive, but I can't seem to find a shortcut key. All right, so the intention, and let's try and be really clear, the intention of the 4x6 index card database is old school. The intention is for a roster. The intention is for you to print out the 4x6 index card for the division and use that as a roster for the individual brigades now that are on each division card. However, part 2 of the database, there's actually 2 databases, one for Union, one for Confederate. Part 2 is lower on the screen, which we'll see. There are business card layout sizes of just the regiments in a brigade. Not the whole division on one card, but a brigade on one business card size. And I will discuss some of the features and attractive natures of this, as well as the mechanics of some of this stuff momentarily, or toward the end, or in a different video, but you get the idea. So, having said the intention, what do you do with the card on the screen? You capture it. Okay, you video capture, you marquee around the object, you copy, right? Whatever program you're using, you copy that image. It's a screen capture, and then you paste it into a Word document. Now, the Word document, depending if you capture a 4x6 index card, put it on the Word document, capture another one, put it on the Word document, etc., etc., etc. And if it's a template for an already perforated a cardstock index card, like from Avery, 4x6 postcard, whatever they call it, then you can paste it in position. And remember, you always have to paste with the formatting of the object in front of text so that you can move it around freely. And sometimes you can't move it that free. You sometimes have to, once you've got it in position and you designated it as paste in front of text, or when it comes to layering or arranging in front of text, you actually have to use the keyboard arrows to micro position the object in the right location on the page. Okay, so that being said, both the Confederate and the Union databases have now been made identical. And what we're looking at here is the division flag over on the far right for, let's take the top one, McClernand's Corps. And the division commander is A.J. Smith. Now, this is interesting because that icon doesn't show A.J. Smith. I think that's Burbridge, the first brigadier. Okay, let's see why that is. Because it used to be we would use the brigadier, the first brigadier, as an image. And scrolling down quickly just to get an idea, yeah, it looks like it's Burbridge. Now, I don't know why, but we'll certainly find out. It should be A.J. Smith. Well, we'll check the database. We'll show you how we do that, actually. All right, so here it is. This is the database. The intention here is for the division flag to be replicated into all the brigades so a player can understand that all those brigades belong to that division. If every division flag is identical, that would be confusing. So you can't have, in retrospect, you can't have the same division flag for every division in the Army. There has to be some kind of a difference to it. Now, you can make that difference in a painting program, a drawing program, and make every division flag somewhat different. And then the ergo, designate all the brigades as you see them with the swallowtails here. All these brigades right here, with that same icon, we'll call it division flag. Now you see the error here. I've used an Indiana flag for all the brigades. Now, why did I do that? Well, the intention was that because the predominant, it's actually not that predominant. Indiana only is 3 of all the regiments in this division. So you can see that A.J. Smith has 3 brigades and an artillery group. We'll call them divisional artillery. Burbridge, Landrum are the commanders, and you see their names appear here as well. So this is Burbridge's brigade, Landrum's brigade, and the artillery detachment right here. So this is the difference between this one and the old one. This is the entire division on one card. And when I jumped, and okay, before I go down there, I'll change the brigade flag so that it looks like the division flag. And as you can see, we have a massive I want to have the same artwork, and I don't know where it is. There it is. Now, as you can see here, I know it's complicated, so don't be scared away, but we have a submit to the database, which takes us back to the index, and a submit and remain in place button right here. And as I gave you a sneak peek of earlier, there's a brigade commander image, a second brigade commander image, a third brigade commander image, and a fourth brigade commander image. Why? Because down here we have the business card layouts. This is the brigade. Each one of these is the brigade. Okay, a brigade. And another interesting thing we've implemented is a rich text block. You can put in here anything you want. And the idea here is background of the unit, and then, you know, famous or what ifs ideas. Okay? And when you select the text, because it's rich text, you can make it all bold. So that's how that works. Now you would think, oh, great, and then you move on. No, you got to remember to hit the submit and remain in place, or the submit to database button, or else this would be lost. That's the most important thing to remember here. Anytime you make a change, you have to hit one of these two buttons to remember it, or because it won't give you a warning, at least not yet. So we just submitted it. We're remaining in place. And now we're going to go back up and continue our discussion. Here you see the brigade commanders, the buttons to put their images in, plus all the text for those brigades. And those brigades are listed right here, right? There's nothing here because there's no fourth one. And then all the rest of the brigades are here. The activation sequence block was changed because it's not necessary to show the name anymore because the unit is in the same line. See, Burbridge, right there. We used to put his name right here. There's no sense in doing that anymore. I don't know why I thought that. So the only thing that's going to change in this row is the number, because and you'll do that physically on the card or on the database, but essentially on the card, whenever the activation sequence changes for a brigade. Okay? So there we are, and you can see here, we've changed, oops, we actually selected the wrong brigade flag. We need to select the one that has that circular. It's funny how I don't see that. Oh, you know why? Because I haven't made that yet. Okay, good opportunity. I'll show you how that's done. We're going to open this in our Paint program. And we use Snagit. And, it's off screen. Okay, let's, how do you move? I don't think you can. Yeah. You can't move. Actually, I can. I can do it this way. I pasted it into a different position. It's a pretty good program, I have to say. All right, so then now we're going to zoom in, and I'll show you how we create the new look to these brigade flags, or any flags. How is that done? Why? And first of all, why are we doing it? Well, the field. Let's paste the flatten all. The field where the text is located is at the bottom of the artwork of the flag, and they're actually, you know something. Well, you can either do this and blank out what the artwork is behind it, or shorten the flag, reduce its height, but that would make it look weird. In order to maintain the look and feel. And I think that's about right for the height of the field. And we'll make it either red or blue. Probably, let's go with the blue just for consistency's sake. Maybe the red. You know, because it would be white lettering. No, let's go with the blue. Yeah. All right, so how are we going to do this now, right? Because I've moved it from its original location on the screen. What we'll do is we'll say it like this. We'll crop it, right? Oh, crap. Let me try that again. I don't think I can get access from, because I'm off screen. Let's try this. All right, it can't work. Let's, I'm going to have to come back. Well, you know what? We'll skip it. All right, but you get the idea. So the swallowtail, now again, here I am pointing at it as if you're standing behind me looking at the screen. I'll use the cursor. The swallowtail is a design that's on the program. It's not in the artwork. You can see I have these little chevron or deltas or triangles here to make a swallowtail. And here you see the brigade numbers. And actually, I can do this way. The brigade division flag can be just changed to the little. Did I make one yet? I don't think I made a single flag of the eagle in there. I just have a double one. Where'd that little guy go? Anyway, again, we'll get to that. Okay, so here's the brigade command, brigade flags. You'll also note that there are these URLs. Now, what was that for? Originally, that was so you could access the previous or another brigade's URL, because you're making 4 brigades, essentially. Sometimes there's more than that to a division, but it's 4. As you can see, 4 and 3, etc. These were the links that would be convenient to jump to one of those brigades. And those links would be embedded right here in these little information bubbles. So it's a feature that probably doesn't need to be existing anymore because you don't have individual files for each brigade anymore. It's all on one card. And obviously the rest of the features are, you can see that there are flags for every single regiment in every brigade. You can put in individual artwork and type in the name of the unit. In 10 millimeter scale, it's really hard to see these little things, but it's not that bad. You can still read them. It's just that they're smaller. Now, if you want to use this artwork and create bigger flags, just paste them and resize them in a Word document. All right, so then as we continue here we go back down to our business card layout. And again, you see it's a roster, so every red casualty hit, every terrain effect or incremental hit, every time the unit routes, and any significant event that happens to the unit, almost always it's either positive or negative. And if it's a negative, you just cross it out. If it's positive, make a dot so it's obvious. And so then we have our brigade commander and then the division flag that is ready that easily shows that he's part of that division. So there we are now. What's the intention of this little RTF, the rich text file, rich text format? The intention here is just for information. It's not to be printed, but it can be. You can print this on the back side. You can print this on a card layout template and then put it on the back side of the card you just printed or something of that nature. Anyway, that's the idea. Okay, so that's the end. Anything else? I think that's it. So there we are. That is how you do it. Oh, let's see. Do we need to go back to the index? First of all, before I leave, let's just, because it doesn't hurt anything unless I significantly screwed something up, let's just go ahead and submit and remain. And then we'll submit to the database and then go back to the index. I think everything looks to be okay. Now, if we go back here and we call it up again, we can use the next button to scroll through all the other divisions. And you can see right here, they're all in the Champion Hill battle until they change to Pea Ridge. Some of these haven't been fleshed out yet. And then we go to Pea Ridge. All right, so there we are. And anything else, other greatness things that we come up with? Oh, okay, well, wait a minute. This actually shows you what the bare thing looks like with no data in it. You can see the little number or the text line here that you fill out, and the text line here that you fill out. And that one's overhanging a little. The text line here that you fill out for the individual flags. So now that we've seen this, it's overhanging, let's go back to our editor and fix that. This is Wix platform. All right. Yeah, he's overhanging. And because of the way that Wix works, you sometimes have to click away. I've mentioned this to them. There is a nuance of doing this that makes it a little difficult because the pop-ups in the editor to help you do what you're doing are actually obtrusive. Like, I can't see the little toolbar. I can't move that toolbar, and that needs to be fixed. As well as, I think there's another flyout here for the unit for this page, and the flyout needs to be hidden and or go away or some other thing like that. Okay, so we're done, and we'll come back with more info. Thanks.